and a very good evening to you. You're watching News 9 Digital. Thank you for joining me live. President Trump says that he's a friend of India. He has spoken quite extensively about his friendship with the Prime Minister and Indians as well. Yet, his actions speak otherwise. A day after the Department of Labour in United States submitted a proposal changing wage conditions of the H-1B visas and L-1 visas, now the Trump administration has announced $150 million for workforce training. Now, it will invest in training middle to high-skilled H-1B occupations in prominent sectors of the economy. But what this would mean in effect is that the workforce in the United States in sectors like information technology, cyber security, as well as advanced transportation, and all of this is going to be trained. The workforce in these will be trained. This, of course, is fueled by the pandemic itself, but it furthers the cause that President Trump so firmly believes in, of making in America and also increasing American employment. To discuss more on what this means for Indians, especially those who are wishing to go to the United States, joining me live is co-founder of Infosys, Mohandas Pai. Many thanks for joining me. Mr. Mohandas Pai, can this be seen as a double whammy really for Indians? Because first the pay parity that decreases their chances of going abroad on H-1B visas, and now the training of American workforce as well.
No, I don't think so. I think we must understand that for many, many years, they've been collecting $2,000, then $4,000 per H-1B visa to be used for training of the American workforce. So this is a very normal thing to train. Please remember, there are 6 million people working in software in America. 6 million. Every year, about 400,000 to 500,000 jobs are created, either due to new jobs or because of people retiring. So there's a lot of jobs, and unemployment is only 3 to 4% in America, right? So I think it's a very normal thing. I don't think anybody should be apprehensive. Even the other statement you made that they want to have 15% more wage for H-1B, I think is a welcome step. Because many of the big Indian companies have been paying more. Infosys, TCS, Wipro, they always pay more than the minimum wages there. And that will remove the argument that people from India are coming and taking away jobs. People from India don't go take away somebody's jobs there because they are going there for project work. I made a study which showed that about 60% of people who went on H-1B came back within 15 months. Within 15 months of going, because they went for a project, finished the project and came, and very few stayed there for the entire 3 years. And there's a lot of misconception, misrepresentation there about this. And by increasing the wages to be paid, it will set right the record. And as far as Indians are concerned, I would urge all of them to do a master's degree. Do a master's degree, because a master's degree is deemed to be specialization in the US. And if you do a master's degree either from a good institution like the IIT or Triple IT or anywhere else, and or a US university by online, you will stand a much better chance. So I think this is clearing up the air. This is not going to reduce the demand for H-1B, but what it will do is there are many small companies which try to get cheap labor from India and spoil the name of the Indian IT industry. They will be hit, and that is a good thing.
So valuable workforce coming from India, it's not going to hit them in any way is what you're saying. But if you look at the stats as well, it might paint another picture, because Infosys's H-1B visa denials are the largest at 59%. It's followed by Cognizant as well. But 59% of these H-1B petitions for the employees of Infosys were denied between the time period of October and March 2020 quarter. So this paints a completely different picture. So how would you explain that?
See, for the lack of a guideline, they've been using discretion. See, if there's a guideline was there, if you pay 15%, you can come in, that will be very good. They will pay more and they can go there, work and come back. Now, for lack of a guideline, you give discretion to the immigration authority. They will try to use the discretion based upon the political wind. And I think we have to be cognizant of that, because, see, first of all, there's a huge demand for IT people. Second, the US is short of IT people. And the third, the unemployment rate in that IT industry in software is just 3 to 4%. And that too, the 3 to 4% is there because, employment in some areas, other areas is not, is less. So I think, we should all take it in a stride and look at the model again. And today, because of the stringency in getting visas, more and more work is coming offshore.
Yeah. So
more and more work is coming offshore, and with automation AI, I think the Indian software industry will do well. But the important thing is they have to get better skills, they have to learn newer technologies, and I think that is what the big IT companies have been doing. For example, all the big IT companies are retrained 60% of their workforce already in 3 years on digital technologies. It's a very massive investment that they have made. So all this is good news. The important thing is we should not have a discretionary law in the US where they can reject you. You must have very clear norms. Even if the norms say you got to pay more, I think that is fine.
So it's not going to affect the companies as well. I mean, we've spoken about what it means for the employees, but for the companies, in a sense, it was already expected. But we're already seeing Infosys hiring about 25,000 Americans, and localization efforts by the companies. Are you seeing that happening, and would it affect the companies?
Yeah, there'll be localization, because for very long all the senators have been threatening that unless you are 50% of the people locally employed, we are not going to give you H-1B visas.
Okay.
So they've been now normally having about 20-25%. Now they're coming up to 50%. So even if the new norm comes, they can still send people from here.
Okay.
So I think we have to learn to live with this, because for the last 20 years it has been a very open market. Now after 20 years we have to learn to live with it, and I think what we need is clarity on the immigration visas. And if this 15% increase plus plus this training gets clarity, that will be very good news. Because having no clarity, discussion is not good for anybody.
Okay, lastly, Mr. Mohandas Pai, we can't keep politics out of it, and Indian Americans are a very important political bloc. So for the Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden as well, he has spoken of his plans for reform in the H-1B visa. He has spoken of a lot of reforms that he'll bring in. On the other hand, President Trump has also portrayed himself as a friend of India as well. So for the people of India and for Indian Americans, who would be a better bet? Do you really see Biden keeping his word, or Trump perhaps easing the norms a bit more if he's re-elected?
Well, I think Trump will be a better bet, because he's got a track record of being a friend for India. Even though his rhetoric is very strong, he has been a friend of India. He supported India against Pakistan, supported India in the United Nations, and allowed India and given a warm hand of friendship to India. See, the problem with President Biden is, while he's a good man, the entire Democratic Party has come into the hand of the extreme leftists, the jihadi elements, and all of that extremists. You've seen what they do by burning cities, by having violence, by having extreme left violence, high taxes, etc. While Biden is a good person because he was there earlier in politics, the Democratic Party has gone into the hands of the extreme left. We don't know how they will react against India. And Kamala Harris has issued strong statements against India on Article 370 abolition, on Kashmir, etc., all without any basis. Even on the CAA, which is a very limited law for a limited number of people, limited period, they're still saying that it is a discriminatory, which is a piece of rubbish. So they're all being captured by these leftists and by these extremists. So I think on balance, while Biden is a good person, and independently, we don't know how he will handle all these leftist lobbies, the Islamists who are spending a lot of money to bring him to power. So I think looking at all that, Trump continuing for 4 more years will be a good thing for India.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mohandas Pai, many thanks for joining us
live
with your expertise on that. So, of course, on one way of looking at it would be that it's going to be a setback, but on the other hand, if it is a skilled employee, in a sense, it could work better for them. Mr. Mohandas Pai saying that skilled employees have been going to the United States. If at all this is going to affect anyone, it's only going to affect a few companies that are bringing in cheap labor into the United States. Pay parity is also not going to make much of a difference to the IT employees who are going from here. But of course, on paper, this makes a bit of a difference as well. We are already seeing a setback in terms of the H-1B visas that are issued, and the majority of these visas go to Indians. So, the jury is out there on whether it could be a setback or not for several IT employees who have been hoping to go out. The visa norms have definitely gotten a lot harder. So it's really a choice between the devil and the deep sea, in a manner of speech, for Indians. And the American elections will have all the answers as to what the fate would be. Thank you so much for watching me in this video. Please let me know in the comments as well on what you think would happen, whether the Biden administration or the Trump administration come back again. Thank you so much for watching me. I look forward to your comments. Take care.